Somewhere in 1987, we had taken a decision that we want to innovate with the global leaders. So Mr. Nauroji Godrej had sent me and my boss, Mr. BJ Mistry, on a global trip. So we traveled around the world for about 40 days, looked at various companies across the globe, trying to seek partnership with them, looking at the product that they were making, and got exposure to all their factories. We came back with one important fact that we need to innovate and do something really different for the Indian market, which is giving really high security. So after doing a lot of research, and finally we decided to come out with a dimple key with ultra lock. And somewhere in 1989, I think we took the decision that we will go ahead with this, and we tried to collaborate, but because of government regulations then and locks being reserved for small industry, we were not permitted to collaborate with that company abroad in Europe. Then we took a decision, let's do it ourselves. It was one of the biggest challenges to develop that dimple key technology with all its nuances of accuracies and materials and processes, which was completely new. It took us 4 to 5 years.
It immediately piqued my curiosity. Being able to utilize advanced tools, technologies, and the expertise in 3D printing to revive this mechanism from history was a very enticing opportunity. And also the previous experience of having worked with locks development of new design of locks, it was a good opportunity for me to actually utilize that expertise as well. So there were 5 major steps which we followed across this project. The first step being decoding and understanding the patent and the mechanism. So to do this, basically the design was a bit complicated, as well as there were hand-drawn sketches. So we had to interpret the entire text as well as the mechanism which was showed in the sketches. Also, there were multiple variants, like embodiments variants of the same lock which were shown. So to understand the features of each and every one of them, and to understand what the text and the claims are exactly saying, that was the first step, wherein we also had to do a bit of research online to see other old locks of similar type, and those locks also helped us to get an idea of the functioning where we were not able to properly get it. So it was initial step was a bit long for us, but with research and with detailed study, we were able to actually decode and understand the entire mechanism which was mentioned in the patent.
The second step in getting the physical product out from this patent was extracting the drawing from the patent. So this stage was very, very important because this gave us the anatomy and the relative proportion between the components mentioned in the patent. We used Adobe Illustrator, a vector graphics editing software, for tracing the image from the patent, and then we converted it into a drawing exchange format, which is a DXF file. And this particular DXF file was further used to create the 3D models.
So the DXF file which was obtained, it was put in the Fusion 360 software, which is a 3D CAD modeling software. So there we come to know that the drawing sketch which was received, it just consists of the set of the broken curves and points, which collectively forms the outline of the locks component. So to proceed further, we just took those outline as reference and then trace out those curves and points with the help of the sketch tool, such as splines, arcs, etc., and then fit those curves into a single defined curve. So finally, the sketch was ready, and a 3D model was made out of it. And this model was then tested, and we came to know that those components were not interacting properly. So this was due to that some parts were larger enough and it won't fit properly. So we took a decision that we should design the sketch from scratch by calculating the critical point, such as the bolt travel, the key bit height, and the lever height. After all the discussion and trial, we finally made our fully functional lock components.
So the fourth step was to convert these 3D models into actual physical components and to test the interaction of these components with each other and thereby validate the mechanism. To do this, we utilized the 3D printing capability which we have in-house, and we 3D printed the components of the initial model which was generated. And this model was then tested out. A couple of iterations were needed to fine-tune the mechanism, but then after 2 iterations we were able to actually get the model working and thereby validate the mechanism and the concept which has been claimed in the patent. So the fifth and the last step of this project was to fine-tune the design which has been validated and to create a complete final assembly of a lock using this design. A couple of iterations more were done to fine-tune the assembly and to make the interaction of the components more smooth, and a final lock was created wherein the entire embodiment of the lock as claimed in the patent can be seen in a functional and working form within a working prototype. Once the 3D modeling was complete, the next step was to convert these 3D models into actual physical components through the use of additive manufacturing. But while using additive manufacturing, the tolerances and clearance that are needed to be provided are different compared to conventional processes. Hence, the design and the 3D model was optimized and modified to make the components suitable for additive manufacturing. Quick testing and validation of the designs was carried out through the use of 3D printing without the use of any conventional tools, processes or machines. 3D printing has allowed us to convert the digital designs into physical objects seamlessly in a single process, which otherwise would have been very complicated using the conventional tools and techniques.
In last 28 years, we have filed for 88 patents, out of which 60 patents were granted, and with 342 designs were registered. Continuous product innovations differentiates a company between the market leader and the market follower. At Godrej Locks and Architectural Fittings Solutions, we are continuing this patent journey, more on the state-of-the-art, digital technologies and the cloud-based locks. We are working further on technologies such as artificial intelligence, image processing and 5G, to work on the global certifications and global patents going forward. So Centaur is our recent innovation wherein we have integrated the dual motion technology, and it is of its first kind, in the world. And SpaceTech Pro is the lock, which we have designed, which is completely designed in India, manufactured in India, and we are working further on to the connected technologies with this SpaceTech Pro and its product portfolio forward.
Well, we were, I would say, very lucky that the internet and the information technology age also was growing along when we were working on this. So earlier what used to happen is that to know what has already been patented and whether your idea is patentable or not, you had to go through a published set of patent journals which was published by the Patent Office in India. And that was quite laborious because you have to subscribe to them, they will send you by post, you have to sit and you have to go through them. Because if I am coming out with an idea, I need to make sure that it is already not implemented by somebody, otherwise it's futile. So I need to study what's already patented, and then within that, how do I come out with my product which is unique and different from them. So when internet was available, we had the gateway opened for all the US patents, the European patents, worldwide patents, we had the full access, and also the Indian patents. Because the Indian Patent Office is also signatory to the the WIPO and other agencies in the world. So with that, our exposure improved, and then we could quickly double up our efforts because we knew that what we are doing is doable or not doable. Are we on the right track or not? So that is up to the concept stage where you create a product which is having a unique proposal and an idea. Then we partner with the patent attorney firms. Like they have got a set of people who will craft and draft your idea into a particular format which is called the patent drafting. And then there are steps in the government where you have to first make an application, then they will scrutinize it, then they will publish it, and they'll wait for somebody to oppose it. For 18 months, they will publish it and then they'll say, does anybody have any objection? So if there are any objections, then we have to reply to them saying that your objection is not valid because our idea is unique And why we should be given a patent is for these reasons. So it's a long process. It takes about 6 to 8 years then. Now it takes about 2 to 4 years. Patent is one of the elements when you want to go to the market. Because when you develop a product, it has got mechanisms which can be patented. It has got shape which is unique and can be product design registered. You give certain names for these products, which we call as trademarks. Then there's a lot of literature which we create around this product, which is copyright. So what we call is a ring fencing. So when you go with a product to the market, you have a patent on the product which protects your mechanisms and the physical aspects of the invention. The design registration protects the shape. The trademark protects the name and the brand, because people often copy your name, even the product looks different. And then you got copyright. Copyright on, the logo is copyrighted. Godrej logo is copyrighted, in fact. So it's a complete ring fencing that you do when you go to the market. And to top it all, you have got your internal processes. You develop certain machines. You develop some unique processes. You are going to safeguard them. And that is what we call as, intellectual capital of the organization, which is also called proprietary information, which you just don't apply for any patent or anything, but it is closely guarded secret of the organization. It's just like wine making, or somebody is making some process industry. They know the secret ingredients, but it is always kept as a secret. Applies to their industry, may not apply to our industry. So we have got to align with the framework of the law, whatever it gives us to protect our business.